It was a cold, rainy evening in the small town of Willowbrook. The town was known for its cozy cafes and charming restaurants, but none were as famous as Le Petit Gourmet, a fine dining establishment run by the renowned chef Henry Moreau. Chef Henry was a perfectionist, known for his exquisite dishes and fiery temper. His restaurant was always packed, but tonight was different. Tonight, Chef Henry was found dead in his kitchen. The news spread like wildfire. Inspector Harold Grayson, a seasoned detective with a sharp mind and a love for puzzles, was called to the scene. As he entered the kitchen, he was struck by the eerie silence. The room was spotless, except for the lifeless body of Chef Henry lying on the floor near the stove. A half-prepared dish of his signature coq au vin sat on the counter, untouched. Inspector Grayson began his investigation by questioning the staff. The first to speak was Marie, the head waitress. She was visibly shaken. "I found him like this when I came to check on the dessert order," she said, her voice trembling. "He was fine just an hour ago, shouting at the sous chef as usual." The sous chef, Pierre, was next. He was a young man with a nervous demeanor. "Chef was in a bad mood today," Pierre admitted. "He yelled at me for overcooking the vegetables. But that was normal for him. I swear, I didn't do this." Inspector Grayson noticed a small, almost imperceptible detail. Near the stove, a tiny crumpled piece of paper. He carefully picked it up and unfolded it. It was a receipt from a local pharmacy, dated that very morning. The receipt was for a bottle of sleeping pills, prescribed to none other than Marie. Curious, Grayson turned to Marie. "Do you take sleeping pills?" he asked. Marie hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, I've been having trouble sleeping lately, but I didn't use them to hurt Chef." "I swear." Grayson's eyes narrowed. He examined the half-prepared dish on the counter. The coq au vin smelled delicious, but something felt off. He called for a forensic team to test the food. While waiting for the results, Grayson questioned the other staff members. The dishwasher, a quiet man named Thomas, mentioned something interesting. "I saw Chef arguing with someone in the alley behind the restaurant earlier today. I couldn't see who it was, but it sounded intense." Grayson decided to check the alley. There, he found a broken wine bottle and a few drops of blood on the ground. He also noticed a faint footprint in the mud, leading away from the restaurant. Back inside, the forensic team had finished their analysis. The coq au vin had been laced with a lethal dose of sleeping pills. Grayson's mind raced. The receipt pointed to Marie, but the argument in the alley suggested someone else was involved. He decided to confront Marie again. "Why did you buy sleeping pills today?" he asked sternly. Marie broke down in tears. "I didn't want to hurt anyone. I just wanted to sleep. But someone stole the bottle from my bag earlier today. I thought I lost it." Grayson's attention shifted to Pierre. "You said Chef yelled at you today. Did you have any reason to want him gone?" Pierre's face turned pale. "No. I mean, he was tough to work for, but I would never hurt him." Just then, Grayson noticed something odd about Pierre's shoes. They were caked with mud, unlike the clean shoes of the other staff members. "Where were you during the time of the murder?" Grayson asked. Pierre stammered. "I was in the storage room, organizing supplies." Grayson wasn't convinced. He followed the muddy footprints from the alley to the storage room, where he found a hidden compartment in the wall. Inside was a stash of cash and a note that read, "Payment for the job." It all became clear. Pierre had been bribed to kill Chef Henry. The argument in the alley was likely Pierre meeting with the person who hired him. The sleeping pills were planted in the food to make it look like Marie was the culprit. Grayson confronted Pierre with the evidence. "You were paid to kill Chef Henry, weren't you?" Pierre collapsed into a chair, defeated. "Yes," he admitted. "I was desperate for money. Someone offered me a large sum to get rid of Chef. I didn't want to do it, but I felt like I had no choice." With Pierre's confession, the case was closed. Inspector Grayson had solved the mystery of the chef's last course. As he left the restaurant, he couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness. The world had lost a brilliant chef, but justice had been served. And so, the town of Willowbrook returned to its quiet ways, but the story of Chef Henry's tragic end would be remembered for years to come.